Terry Gilliam of Monty Python fame has been cancelled for finding Dave Chappelle funny. Just out of interest, what level of clown world are we on right now? Where it's not just the comedian that has to worry about offending the privileged few, the protected aristocratic class, but people commenting on the comedian's jokes also have to worry about losing their livelihoods now. I mean, we are so deep at this point. We can't even barely see the light anymore, we're so far down the goddamn rabbit hole. Old Vic, that being the venue and the theatre, cancels Terry Gilliam's show over trans views. Well, that's slightly misleading. You see, he's apparently been cancelled because some of its staff had concern about his views. What views were they? Well, they don't actually tell us. All we know is that last month Gilliam publicly supported the comedian Dave Chappelle. I love how they write this as if he came out in defense of Mein Kampf or something. Right, he publicly defended the literal Satan here. And what is the public support, mind you? Well, it's this right here. This is a Facebook post where he says, "I'm encouraging all of you to watch Dave Chappelle's The Closer new show on Netflix. To me, he's the greatest stand-up comedian alive today, incredibly intelligent, socially aware, dangerously provocative." You got that right. And gut-wrenchingly funny. There is a storm brewing over Netflix support for the show. I'd love to hear your opinion. Oh yes, it's basically kill all trans people in good old-fashioned English right there. I mean, we're not even at dog whistle levels anymore, we're at ultrasound. You gotta dig real deep to get the transphobic views out of that one, like you gotta squeeze hard. And yet, the theatre decided that there was enough transphobic views in his endorsement of a black comedian. And to be fair, as somebody who's gotten in hot water himself for liking black comedians, I can sympathize. It's apparently a capital crime to enjoy comedy if they're the wrong skin color, I guess. Anti-racism, ladies and gentlemen. Knocking down one black comedian at a time. God. And the worst part too is, this guy right here is a based man who has been proven absolutely correct again and again when it comes to wokeism. For example, last year Gilliam described the Me Too movement as a witch hunt. Yes, absolutely spot on, 1000% correct. And while saying he hated the film producer and sexual predator Weinstein, added that there were decent people who were getting hammered by the movement and its highlighting of abuse of power. Well, see, there's the thing. He says, yeah, I don't like sexual predators. Weinstein was a bastard. I condemn him wholeheartedly. But people are being victimized by this movement. And guess what? There were a ton of them. In fact, he brings up an example of this just a little bit later on. And I love how they write this too. By the movement in its highlighting of abuse of power. Well, you're correct. You are actually very correct in that it highlights abuse of power. Because they mention here Kevin Spacey. The Old Vic was the British theatre most affected by the Me Too movement after allegations were made about the actor Kevin Spacey. Alright. Abuse of power. What does that mean? Well, it means that somebody in a privileged position in society levies accusations against somebody else or uses their position to shut them up or get them removed from their positions. Kevin Spacey hasn't worked since being accused, and the man who accused Kevin Spacey of sexual assault will not identify himself, setting up dismissal of his lawsuit. who's in the position of power right here, I wonder? The actor who has had his life and career ruined and completely slaughtered, or the person who has done all of this in absolute secrecy, perfect anonymity, and can now simply just walk away as if nothing ever happened? They're absolutely correct. Abuse of power indeed. The theatre also suffered a financial hit from the pandemic, and so, of course, cancelling popular shows is it's a fantastic way of fixing that. And outing yourself as a bunch of bigoted assholes is yet another fantastic way of regaining some of that revenue. And hold on. Kevin Spacey, didn't he come out as a gay man as well? So not only are they bigoted, they're homophobic too. Man, the Old Vic sounds like an absolutely terrible establishment that should be avoided at all costs. It is nice to see, though, that at least some comedians understand that this woke garbage can't continue, and that is willing to stand up for other comedians as well. More and more, we are seeing far too many people, like, for example, Dan Aykroyd here, trying to pull up the ladder. They're already famous, they're old, they're rich, they're established, and so they're, maybe you should censor yourself. Maybe you should be cancelled for hurtfulness. It's not going to affect me. I'm immune at this point. I'm already out, but anybody who tries to follow me, well, you're not going to have it quite so easy, son. See, back in the day, there was an entire culture of trying to bring people up with you. The idea was that the rising tide raises all ships. This has been a philosophy that, well, I had before I started doing YouTube, where I even did God damn, it's been a while now. The community spotlight for the express purpose of going like, okay, doing YouTube is bloody awesome. Doing lore on YouTube is bloody awesome. Let's try to get other people established as well. Shine a spotlight on them. Show them off to the audience and go like, hey, these are cool people. You should definitely check them out. That worked out super well, incidentally, but oh well. No good deed goes unpunished, as they say. Now, obviously, this should have, that's the thing again. He's even mentioned it now that he's done hurtful things in the past. Hurtful things? But it's fine. It's just new comedians. And therein lies the problem as well, right? Look at this guy. He's not a young buck anymore. Dave Chappelle is getting close to 60, I think now. Eddie Murphy is 60. Chris Rock, the person I quoted to get in trouble over, is, I believe, like 58 or 7 or something. These are getting to be pretty damn old people, and there is no new guard of comedians coming up to try and replace them, with a handful of exceptions. I mean, who's the new Dave Chappelle? Who's the new Eddie Murphy? Who's the new Chris Rock? Stand-up comedy is almost entirely dead because people can't be funny anymore without the risk of literally being cancelled. Even somebody like Dave Chappelle, a huge comedian with a massive following, an enormous fan base, has recently been talking about how his documentary has been turned down by various networks and outlets because of his troubles now with the privileged few. Again, I want to remind you here, if you want to know who has real, actual power in a relationship, you know, in a society indeed, figure out who you're not allowed to make fun of. And there you go. It's literally that simple. You can't make fun of something like 0-something% of the population without having one of the biggest name in comedy get damn near cancelled. If it was anyone else but Dave Chappelle, do you think Netflix would have had their back? I very much so doubt it. Hell, even Kevin Spacey was a big goddamn name. He carried House of Cards on his bloody shoulders, even through those awful seasons. Holy shit. House of Cards was one of the finest pieces of television ever recorded. And then they decided, hey, let's strangle it in its sleep and butcher the carcass. But enough about that. Here we have it, another good boy being cancelled by the sexist abusers and the homophobic people over at the Old Vic. Hopefully they'll come to reason, maybe after their pocketbook gets strangled appropriately as well, and invite Teddy Gilliam back. He hopefully tells them to go and get shouted, but oh well, details. Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and remember, as always, if you liked the video, please do consider leaving a like and a comment in the section down below to appropriately tickle the algorithmic pickle. Have a good day.